Hello, let's say you want to import a car from the UK and you have already spotted that car. When you are browsing in the website, you have found that car, or maybe you have spotted that car in the streets of UK and you want to import that car. How do you take it from the street or from the UK, from a dealership, until you have that car at your doorstep in Nairobi? Relax. In this video, we are going to explain to you each and every step of the way. From the moment you start having that idea of getting that car to the time that you have this car at your doorstep in Nairobi. So welcome. So once we spot a car, or maybe you have told us, I have spotted this car and I want to import it. Help me to import this car. Or maybe you just came to us, or maybe you just went to our website and you've already found that car. So the first thing that you do what is called the HPI check. So the HPI check is a system of the United Kingdom where all the car's details are registered there. And if you can search that car, it can reveal to you if this car has any financial obligation, maybe it has a loan, or maybe this car was involved in an accident, or maybe there's a big damage in this car, or if there is anything as pertaining to that car that is tied to that car. So you can do the HPI check and you can get everything. If that car is clean, there is no financial debt, the car has not been stolen, there is no outstanding financial debt, so we'll know that this is a tick. So we start now the next process. The next process is where now we start involving now the dealer that we want now to purchase this car, and now we want this car to start the legal paperwork. Now the next process is starting the legal paperwork for this car. And the first thing that we do is that we tell now the seller to fill what is called the V5C. So in the UK, this is like the logbook. So every car owner or every dealership, they need to have what is called the V5C. So the V5C has different sections. So the owner of that car, they have to fill section C. That mostly is the purpose section for the V5C. So it is divided into sections. So because now this person wants to export this car, they fill that section C. After filling section C, they send that section. So they have to detach that section, like the way you can just detach a paper. So that V5C, you can detach that section after filling it that you want now to export that car, and then you mail that, or you send that now section C of the V5C to the Driver Vehicle Licensing Authority in the UK. They mostly refer to it by DVLA. So that is the Driver Licensing Authority in the UK. You don't send the whole V5C, you don't send the whole logbook. You only send that section. You detach it and you send that section. So once you send that section, they are notified that you have an intent of selling this car and it's going to be exported to another country. So they start the process of deregistration. So the deregistration out, clearing that car from their database so that they know now this car is no longer now in the UK, so it is ready to be exported to another country. Remember, if you don't do it well, there are some private sellers. Maybe you have a person who want to sell to you and maybe they don't know, so they may fill that section C and they mail everything to the driver vehicle licensing authority. So you're not supposed to send everything, you only send that section 4. If you send everything and it gets lost, the seller will have to fill and apply for the V561. That is a permanent export certificate, because now they want to export that car. So if they forgot and they mailed everything, the V5C, and it gets lost, they have to fill that V561. That is a permanent export certificate. Because if you don't have those, once the car lands in your country, like in Kenya, it will be rejected at the port, so it will not be cleared. So you need to have that V5C. Only the section that was sent will be missing. The next step now, after filling that, the next step is now booking a center that is authorized by KEBS, which is called the QISJ. So that is an office that checks the car, and once the car conforms into all the standard, it checks all the boxes, you will get what is called the certificate of conformity, the COC. So you get the certificate of conformity, or the QISJ certificate. Means that your car has been checked for roadworthiness, it has been checked for any major damages, it has been checked for emission, and everything now is perfect. And now after that, you get what is called the QISJ certificate, or that certificate of conformity. That car conforms to the standard that are outlined by KEBS. The next thing that we need to know is that if your car fails, maybe the brake disc, or there are some petty stuffs there that KEBS, maybe through the QISJ, say that maybe this does not conform. So what you need to do is that we organize with the person who is there on the ground in the UK, and the car gets repaired, because now it is cheap to repair there. And once now it has been repaired, if maybe it was those minor damages, maybe the wipers were not working like that, or maybe there was light that was not working, maybe the indicator, so they check and then it gets repaired. After that, the car will then go back and to get inspected by the QISJ. And then now, after now they are satisfied that now that car has confirmed everything, they give you now the QISJ certificate, or this is a certificate of conformity. Remember, as of 2026, all the exporters, and actually us like the dealers, we have to make sure we follow the government requirements. As of 2026, the government of Kenya introduced an act where all the certificate of export, the export certificate, they have to be validated, and that logbook, the V5C. So as of 2026, all exporters are required to validate the logbook and the certificate of permanent export through a database, so that they make sure that it is genuine. So before the car comes, they have to validate. We pay around 12,000 so for that process. After that, after KLA validates that now the car is okay and everything is the legal process has been followed, now you'll be able now to apply for the import declaration fees, the IDF. So for the process of clearance, we have our clearing agent, and the clearing agent has to pay for that IDF, the import declaration fees. So it is subject to the validation of that logbook and that certificate of export through that database. So once they validate everything, now you will be able to apply and to pay for that, the IDF. Now we have done the HPI check, we have done the QISJ inspection, we have organized with the dealers, and you have purchased that car now. Now the car is yours. Now we take the car to the nearest port to book the next vessel. And it's not just like booking an air ticket that is just straightforward. Our clearing agent in the UK, or the exporter in the UK, they apply for what is called the SSN. It means standard shipping note. That is a port pass. So for the car to be allowed to go to the port, maybe we are shipping the car through the Southampton port, or the Tilbury, or the Sheerness port. Before the car goes there, the clearing agent there will have to apply for the port pass, so that the car will be allowed to go inside the port. So after getting the standard shipping note, the SSN, now the car is taken to the port, now awaiting booking of the next port. Now after that, we need to know, is our client willing to pay for the container shipment, or the car will be coming through the roll on and roll off. So for the container shipment is where now the car will be put inside a steel box. You have seen these containers that maybe you even see the lorries moving with them. So the car can be put there, and the advantage is that you can ship other personal items like the spare parts, so you can put them there. But if your car is going to be driven into the ship the standard way, where we have now parking bays in different layers, so that is called the RoRo. So it is quite cheap, unlike the container shipment. But in the RoRo you cannot put other items in the inside the car, so it's only the car, and you give now the shipping agent now the keys to drive that car inside the ship, and then once it reaches Mombasa, it will be driven from the ship. This process, the car has to be delivered to the shipping vessel 7 days before the ship's departure. So that's the reason sometimes you may realize we can tell you the estimate time for the car to arrive from the UK to Kenya, or maybe even if you're shipping in Japan. Because now these 5 to 6 days, if the shipment vessel maybe it's almost full, or maybe the deadline has passed, so you'll have to wait for the next shipping. Or maybe you just went there and you realize maybe you had good luck, the ship was just almost full, and then we just shipped your car, and then your car was allowed to go inside that ship. So you'll see the time or the duration will be less as compared to somebody who has to wait if that car has found that the ship is full. After now the car is taken to the ship and you have paid for it, we get what is called the bill of landing. So the bill of landing, it's like a logbook when the car is on the high seas. So when the car is traveling by sea, you get what is called the bill of landing. So that is the one that will be used at the port of destination, like in Mombasa. So that will be your legal document to say that this is your car, because now you have been given the bill of landing. For the container shipment, the cost is around £1,300 to £1,500. But for the RoRo, it's quite cheaper, around 300 to £500 if you are shipping it from the UK. If it's from Japan, it's mostly $150. Now the car now has to be insured. As of 2025, Kenya implemented a strict rule. All marine cargo has to be insured, and the insurer has to be a company registered locally under the government of Kenya. Remember, before we used to have like buying that insurer from UK, but nowadays if you come with an insurance that is not issued by a registered insurer in Kenya, KRA may reject that insurance, and you will still start having some issues when you want to start clearing your car. So the back and forth and all those things. So all this process, we have to make sure that when a client has reached to us and they want us to import the car, we have to follow all this process so that there is nothing that is going to bring issues. So the whole process, we have to verify all the documentation, all the legal process are being followed from the UK up to the time that the ship docks at the port of Mombasa. This is not inclusive of the taxes. Taxes now, paying of the taxes, we also have a separate registered agent who handles the clearance of the taxes and the duty. So this is just a nutshell, but I may not have explained every nitty-gritty of all the process. At least I've explained in a nutshell the whole process from the UK, from the time you spot a car in the UK and you come and maybe you tell us, I need you to import for me this car. I just located this car in this website, so we have to check all this process until we start importing this car and the payment and everything. Also, if for example just the client just tells us, me, I just want you to import for me this car, we handle all that process and we make sure that everything is correct and everything is accurate, and the timing and the duty, we calculate all the duty so that when you are giving you the final price, at least you are 100% sure that you will not get other hidden charges or other hidden process when the car ships or when you start processing your paperwork. Remember, if you want to import any car, remember all this information. You can also get them at paradisehub.co.ke where we import for you any car in the UK. So if you need to import any car in the UK, the SUV, the UK market mostly is known for the SUV and the high-end vehicles and the high-tech technology vehicle. But for those ones that we import from Japan are the most, they are more affordable. And also there's another video I've done where we explain to you the process of importing a car from Japan. This one was the process of importing a car from the UK. So thank you so much. If you need more information, you can get it to our website, or if you need to sell maybe your car, you can sell it in our website. If you need to buy any car, or you have a car you want to import, just go into our website and you'll get all that information. So until next time guys, happy driving.